See this, we have three theorems here. First theorem is, let capital H be a non-empty subset of a group G comma star. Then capital H is a subgroup of G if A into B inverse belongs to H. So how to find out that a group is a subgroup is, if it is finite it is easy, but then using these theorems we can prove some other points. So you will not understand why this theorem is very important now, but later when I come to the questions you will understand it. For now just try to understand it, okay? So what they mean to say is, if you have a group G and then if we have a subgroup H, then H is going to be a subgroup of G only when, if you take every pair of elements A comma B and if you find out A into B inverse, then it should also belong to the H. Okay, so why is it important? We shall see later. And next theorem is, let capital H be a non-empty finite subset of a group capital G. Then H is a subgroup only if A star B belongs to H for all A comma B belongs to H. So what they mean to say is, by this theorem, if you have a group G, it is very important, we are going to use it right away in all the questions. So if you have a group G and if you have taken a subset of it, now if you want to find out whether it is a subgroup or not, just see whether all these this particular set is closed under star. Okay, so that is the meaning of it. If A star B belongs to H means it should be closed, right? So what I mean to say is, you have a group G and you have a subset H, and now this H is a subgroup of G only when this is closed under the operation. H is closed under the operation. If you take any two elements from H and if you try to apply star, then the result should also belong to H. If you can verify it, it is enough. So using this theorem, this is the simplest way to find out whether a subset is group or not. So what we will do is, whenever possible, if the group is finite, most of the cases the group is going to be finite, the subgroup, then we take this subgroup and then we try to apply this particular manipulations, right, in the composition table, and then we can see whether they are closed or not. Once we know that they are closed, we can say that it is a subgroup. I will take some examples on this theorem in the next video, you will understand it. Okay. Next one is Lagrange's theorem. So Lagrange's theorem says that if H is a subgroup, which means if it is already known that H is a subgroup, then order of H is a divisor of order of G, but the converse need not be true. So what they mean to say is, let us assume that the number of elements in a group G is M and the number of elements in a group H, subgroup H is N. Then they are saying that this particular number N will definitely divide this number M. That is what they are saying when this is a subgroup, right? So what is the advantage of this particular theorem is, we can straight away discard some of the subsets as they cannot be potential subgroups. You didn't understand it, right? Let me take an example. Now if a group is having 10 elements, then what are the possible sizes of the subgroups? Can a subgroup, let us say H is a subgroup with number of elements as 3, can this be this is a subset, H is a subset of G, can H be a subgroup of G, right? Now if you see it, 3 does not divide 10, therefore we can say that H cannot be a subgroup of G. Are you getting this? But then if you have another subgroup, another subset, let's say a subset, not a subgroup, if you have another subset and whose size is 5, can this be a subgroup of this? Since 5 divides 10, yes, there is a chance that it might be a subgroup, but then you cannot right away say that it is a subgroup because converse is not true. Are you getting this? See, if G is a subgroup, if G is a group and H is a subgroup, then definitely N should divide M. That is what the theorem says. But then if N divides M, it is not necessary that it should H be a subgroup of N, which means every subset containing 5 elements need not be a subgroup of G, but then if it is not, you can say that if it is 3, if 3 does not, if order of H does not divide order of G, then you can say that it is not a subgroup. Are you getting this point? So this is how we can use the theorems. I'm not sure whether you understood these theorems completely. So what we can do is, for each theorem I'll take examples and I'll explain you. That way you can understand it. This last theorem, I just want to make it even more clear. Okay, let me give you some few questions here. See this. Now, let us say order of G is 10. And order of H, where H is a subset, not a subgroup. Order of H is 3. Will H be a subgroup of G? You can directly say no. Right? Now let us say there is one more subset, not a subgroup. One more subset H2, and the order of this subset H2, let us say, is 5. Now if the question is, will H2 be a subgroup of G? Then the answer is may or may not be. Maybe or may not be. We cannot say, but we cannot say directly no. So this is a kind of negative test. In the sense, we can directly say that a group is not a subgroup, or we can directly say that a subset is not a subgroup. But then we may not be able to say that a subset is a group. For that we have to use the other theorem. Which one? This one. So this theorem is really important, because once you find out the subset of a group, then that subset is going to be a subgroup only when it is closed. You need not check for all the properties like how we do for groups. Here you just check for the closure property. And how can we check the closure property? Just form the composition table. It will be easy. Okay, I'll right away take some examples on this and I'll explain you. Right? So don't worry about it. It will be easy.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So, first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.